India, a land of vibrant cultures and ancient mysteries, has always beckoned me. As a paranormal investigator, I'm drawn to the unexplained, the whispers of the supernatural that linger in the shadows. In March 2017, I received a call that would send shivers down my spine. It was an invitation to investigate a remote village in Odisha, a place whispered to be under the grip of something sinister. The villagers spoke of headless apparitions, shadows that stalked their every move, and a palpable sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. It was a call I couldn't ignore, a challenge that ignited a fire in my soul. The village was nestled near a riverbed, a serene setting that belied the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. As our team arrived, the sun began its descent, casting long, ominous shadows across the landscape. We were met with a mixture of fear and hope in the eyes of the villagers. They had lived with the unexplained for far too long, their lives plagued by fear and uncertainty. Their stories painted a chilling picture of their reality, a reality where the supernatural was not a myth, but a terrifying part of their daily lives. A farmer spoke of seeing a headless figure gliding through his fields, its laughter echoing through the night. Each story added another layer to the tapestry of fear that enveloped the village. As darkness enveloped the village, we unloaded our equipment, a collection of advanced tools designed to detect and analyze paranormal activity. The villagers watched us with a mix of curiosity and trepidation, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a nervous energy that was both exhilarating and unnerving. We were a team of experienced investigators, but even we couldn't shake the feeling that we were stepping into something truly extraordinary. The weight of the villagers' fear was palpable, their hope resting on our shoulders. I knew that we were facing something powerful, something that had haunted this village for far too long. The riverbed was our primary target, a place where the villagers claimed to have witnessed the most unsettling activity. The air hung heavy with moisture as we made our way through the tall grass, the setting sun casting an eerie orange glow over the landscape. As we reached the heart of the riverbed, a sense of unease settled over the team. The temperature seemed to drop, sending a shiver down my spine. We spread out, our footsteps muffled by the soft earth. The riverbed seemed to hold on to their terror, amplifying it in the stillness of the evening. Our tools were our lifeline, our connection to the unseen world. We carefully unpacked our arsenal, laying out the EMF readers, EVP recorders, and night vision cameras with practiced precision. Each device hummed with a quiet energy, ready to capture any flicker of the paranormal. The cameras were strategically positioned to cover every angle of the riverbed. The red glow of their recording lights cut through the growing darkness, casting an eerie ambience over our makeshift command center. The airwaves felt unusually thick, as if something unseen were trying to break through the barriers of our reality. "Is there anyone with us?" I asked, my voice echoing strangely in the stillness of the riverbed. The question hung in the air, unanswered. We waited, our senses on high alert, listening for any sign, any whisper that might indicate a presence beyond our own. Just as I was about to change tactics, the K2 meter in my hand sprang to life. The lights on the device, designed to detect fluctuations in the electromagnetic field, blinked rapidly, their green glow piercing the darkness. Could this be it? Was this the first sign that we were not alone? The sudden burst of activity from the K2 meter sent a jolt of adrenaline through me. My eyes darted to the device, its lights flickering erratically in the darkness. The crew, alerted by the change in energy, turned their attention to me, their faces illuminated by the glow of the equipment. "Did you see that?" I whispered, my voice barely audible above the hum of the cameras. I scanned the area, searching for any logical explanation for the sudden spike in electromagnetic activity. The K2 meter was our only indicator that something unusual was happening. "I just saw two lights on the K2 meter," I said, my voice steady despite the racing of my heart. "Was that you?" Silence. The air grew heavy with anticipation. "Don't be shy," I continued, trying to sound encouraging, even though a shiver ran down my spine. "We're not here to harm you." Again, the K2 meter blinked. We were communicating with something unseen. "Can you show us 5 lights?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. To our astonishment, 5 lights flashed on the K2 meter. We had made contact, but just as quickly as the communication had begun, it ceased. The K2 meter fell silent. The air, once thick with anticipation, now felt empty and heavy. We were alone, yet it felt like we were being watched, scrutinized by unseen eyes. Suddenly, fat droplets of rain began to fall, quickly turning into a torrential downpour. We scrambled for cover, our equipment hastily protected from the elements. The sudden shift in weather was unsettling, as if the very heavens were reacting to our presence. We huddled together under a makeshift shelter of tarps and umbrellas, the rain beating down around us. And then, as quickly as it had started, the rain stopped. The clouds parted, revealing the full moon once again, its light casting long, distorted shadows across the now muddy ground. The sudden downpour had left an eerie silence in its wake. Despite the unsettling experience, we were determined to continue our investigation. The brief communication we'd established had only deepened our curiosity. We decided to split into 2 teams, each equipped with a K2 meter, an EVP recorder, and a night vision camera. I partnered with our cameraman, a seasoned professional who had seen his fair share of strange occurrences, but never anything quite like this. We ventured deeper into the riverbed, our footsteps muffled by the now muddy ground. The silence was almost oppressive, broken only by the gentle chirping of crickets and the distant croaking of frogs. We had been walking for what felt like hours, our senses on high alert, but the K2 meter remained disappointingly silent. The only sounds captured by the EVP recorder were the rustling of leaves and our own hushed whispers. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night. I spun around, my heart pounding in my chest, to see my teammate, the cameraman, standing frozen in terror, his eyes wide with fear. "What happened?" I asked, rushing towards him, my hand instinctively reaching for the flashlight. "I saw someone," he stammered, his voice trembling. "Behind you, a tall shadow." I immediately swung the flashlight beam behind me, but there was nothing there. Just the tall grass swaying gently in the breeze and the dark, imposing silhouettes of the trees. "Are you sure?" I asked, my voice betraying my own growing unease. "I swear I saw it," he insisted, his voice barely a whisper. I tried to rationalize his experience, to attribute it to the darkness, the unsettling atmosphere, perhaps even exhaustion, but deep down, a primal fear began to take root. We were not alone in the riverbed. We decided to retrace our steps, heading back towards the spot where the cameraman had seen the shadow figure. As we approached the location, the K2 meter, which had been silent for the past hour, suddenly sprang to life. "This is it," I whispered, my voice barely audible above the pounding of my heart. "This is where you saw it, right?" He nodded, his eyes fixed on the K2 meter, which was now blinking erratically. The air around us felt heavy, charged with an unseen energy. I watched in disbelief as the cameraman struggled to regain his footing, his face a mask of terror. The K2 meter in my hand buzzed with frenetic energy, its lights flashing wildly. "What was that?" he gasped, scrambling back towards me, his eyes darting nervously around the darkened riverbed. I didn't have an answer. For the first time in all my years of investigating the paranormal, I felt a surge of primal fear course through me. The cameraman, shaken but unharmed, insisted that something had pulled him, something he couldn't see but felt with terrifying force. Curiosity warred with fear within me. I wanted to investigate, to understand what force had been at play, but my intuition screamed at me to back away. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. I had come to this village to face the unknown, to confront whatever darkness lurked within the riverbed. "Whoever you are," I said, my voice echoing strangely in the stillness of the night, "you're scaring us. Show yourself." The K2 meter in my hand responded with a frenzy of activity, its lights flashing so rapidly they blurred into a continuous green glow. The air crackled with static electricity, raising goosebumps on my skin. And then I saw it. Partially buried in the mud, almost invisible in the darkness, lay a small, crudely fashioned doll. It was made of dark cloth, stitched together with thick, uneven thread, and adorned with what looked like human hair. "A voodoo doll," I whispered, my blood turning cold. As I carefully extracted the doll from the mud, I noticed strange symbols etched onto its chest. They were unfamiliar, unlike any I had encountered in my years of investigating paranormal phenomena. But one thing was clear: these symbols were not random. They were deliberate, imbued with a dark purpose. Before embarking on this investigation, we had consulted with a psychic from Mumbai. Now, standing in the eerie stillness of the riverbed, with the voodoo doll clutched in my hand, I realized the chilling truth. She had been right. A wave of nausea washed over me as I held the voodoo doll, its form pulsating with dark energy. This was beyond anything I had ever encountered. We retreated from the riverbed, our steps hurried yet cautious. As we reached the outskirts of the village, a sense of relief washed over me. Back at our makeshift headquarters, we packed our equipment with a haste that bordered on frantic. The weight of the night's events pressed down on us, the memory of the K2 meter's frantic dance, the cameraman's terror, and the chilling discovery of the voodoo doll. Sleep, when it finally came, offered little respite. Shadows twisted into menacing shapes, disembodied whispers echoed, and the crimson-stained cloth of the voodoo doll flashed before our eyes. The villagers avoided our gaze, and a palpable tension hung in the air. We left our village the next day, our departure as swift as our arrival. The villagers, though initially relieved by our presence, seemed almost eager to see us go, their farewells tinged with a mixture of gratitude and fear. The drive back was a blur of exhaustion and contemplation. The events at the riverbed replayed in my mind, each detail scrutinized, analyzed, yet ultimately failing to provide any concrete answers. Who had crafted the voodoo doll? What dark purpose did it serve? And what was the significance of the strange symbols etched onto its chest? I had entered the world of paranormal investigation seeking answers, drawn to the unexplained mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface of our everyday reality. But the experience at the riverbed had left me with more questions than answers, a stark reminder that some mysteries are better left undisturbed. The Shaitaan encounter, as we came to call it, remains one of the most unsettling cases of my career. It serves as a chilling reminder that the pursuit of the paranormal is not a game, a thrill ride for adrenaline junkies, but a journey into the darkest corners of our existence, where ancient forces lie dormant, waiting to be awakened. As I reflect on that fateful night in the Odisha village, I am left with a profound sense of unease, a lingering feeling that some things are best left undisturbed, some doors better left unopened. For in the pursuit of the unknown, we may stumble upon truths more terrifying than the mysteries themselves.